Strange accounts, or might I say cursed accounts. So, at the very end of the most recent episode of Brawl News, we had brought up a very bizarre cursed account, one of which had 0 trophies but a ton of 3v3 victories. So, you can assume after coming across that cursed account, your boy Ray caught another whiff of inspiration and interest. In a passion of cursed accounts, I went looking for more. And oh baby, have I found some really interesting accounts out there, and even something to do with an ongoing record in the Brawl Stars community that is super bizarre and no one has really questioned up until this point. So we're starting off this video here today with a blast from the past. You could call it a check-in on probably the most bizarre accounts I've seen ever in Brawl Stars. We're over here on Brawl Time Ninja. I'm sure you guys remember the crazy leaderboards when it comes to hours. We have these 3 accounts, C49, C50, and C57, with crazy outlandish hours played. So if we're ranking cursed accounts or bizarre accounts in terms of how difficult they are to explain, these by far take the cake because they're hard to explain. They literally prove to the majority of the Brawl Stars community that there is a level cap in Brawl Stars. If we take a look at C49, the top in terms of hours, as you can see, the cap is 500, which is so crazy when we first stumbled across this. But since the video uncovering these strange accounts for the very first time, it seems like there is a newcomer here, just to put it in perspective how weird these things are. As you can see, this guy has 369 3v3 victories, 941 duo showdown victories, and he's level 390, dude. But with those very bizarre accounts out of the way, I think it's going to transition us nicely into the main topic and the reason why I wanted to get into this video here today, and that is the incredibly bizarre race on the 3v3 wins leaderboard here. If we take a look at these 3v3 win leaderboards, they're getting nutty and hard to explain. We have Alexander here in the #1 spot, 180,000 3v3 victories, guys. Now he or she has held this title for such a long time now, and up until this point I feel like no one has really questioned or acknowledged how insane this actually is. I mean, to put it in perspective, we have people here such as Bobby in the 11th place spot or Landy in the 7th place spot with very admirable amount of 3v3 victories, 85,000 for Landy and 78,000 for Bobby. Both of these players playing since beta and quite heavily since beta. And these crazy 100k 3v3 victory totals more than double these players that have been playing since Brawl Stars has been a thing. So knowing this, I think it's safe to assume that there is some sort of strategy going on here that is outside of the realm as just hopping into game after game 3v3 game modes. It's almost as if there isn't enough time in the day or time up until this point in Brawl Stars history to even be able to accumulate 180,000 3v3 victories. And to take that even one step further here, if we go to the duo showdown leaderboards, Alexander is up here as well in the 2nd place spot with 51,000 duo showdown victories. So not only do they have 180,000 3v3 victories, but they have insane numbers on the duo showdowns as well. It's nuts. So with the setup out of the way with these bizarre accounts, I next want to get into how these people are doing it, or just a deeper dive into their situation. Next, transitioning to Brawlify.com to take a deeper dive into Alexander's profile and their account, specifically their statistics here. And in all honesty, when I first came across it, I wasn't super surprised when it came to overall trophies. You would kind of come to expect with a player that has 183,000 victories under their belt in 3v3 game modes that they would be a little bit higher in trophies. But as you can see, they're sitting at 23,718 trophies right now, and the highest trophies Alexander has ever gotten to was 23,919. So of course something strange is going on here. Definitely nothing against the rules or anything like that, just a different way of Brawl Stars being played here. Very bizarre and out of the ordinary. So if we take a look at the battle logs here, it seems like the strat, in order to produce a ton of 3v3 wins and to race on this leaderboard, is these players are going into matches with 0 trophy brawlers with very high power levels here. As you can see, for example, Alexander has a 0 trophy Otis at power level 5, and then the match before that, a 0 trophy Squeak at power level 9. 9. So I'm thinking what they're doing is going into a match at 0 trophies, somewhat higher power levels so they can queue up against bots, and then they force close their app, and then they let their bot just take over and hope they pick up a win. If the bot ends up doing good and wins and you're not actually logged in, it won't count for trophies, but will count as a win. It's a really good way that we see a lot of these players getting victories, but not trophies on those weird, bizarre cursed accounts. We have some other examples here further down where Alexander is using Griff over and over and over at 0 trophies with quite a few defeats, a victory in there as well, but just queuing up time and time again, trying to get that bot victory, which it seems like this is the strat. And the final thing that I did want to bring up about these crazy, bizarre accounts and what they're doing is a lot of them have insane win records. So what this record means is Alexander's longest win streak in Brawl Stars is 2,793 games in a row, a win every single time. And then vice versa, the longest losing streak was 2,841. Isn't that just insane? Just to take a look at some of these guys in game, unfortunately Alexander isn't in a club, so we can't look at them in game, but this second place person is with only 20,000 less 3v3 wins. Taking a look at the second place overall in terms of 3v3 victories, we have this user here. Yet again, a kind of reoccurring situation here that we see with the other accounts that have these crazy 3v3 victory totals. They have the victories, but not an equivalent outcome for those victories, right? This person's highest trophies were at 18,000. He's sitting at 162,000 victories. That would mean he has a very poor win rate, you guys. But yeah, this is the specifics of his account. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. A lot of 0 trophy brawlers with high power levels. I'm assuming the same kind of strats that we saw from Alexander, but just nutty statistics, which I found incredibly interesting, and surprised that not a whole lot of people have looked into any further, right? So you guys will have to let me know what you're thinking about these really bizarre leaderboard warriors, but kind of a different leaderboard, right? They want the highest 3v3 victories. It must be the meta or the strat that you need to utilize in order to obtain the leaderboard or position yourself on the leaderboard. So really bizarre, and it was fun to look into. But with that segment out of the way, next transitioning into a handful, a smorgasbord of different accounts that I've come across that I think you all will think are very cursed and bizarre. So to kick things off, probably one of my favorites of the video today, I was browsing some of the Brawler leaderboards and stumbled across this account here on the Shelly leaderboard. Sitting at the 5th place spot, we have this individual sitting at a grand total of 46,771 trophies, but what makes this account so strange is the lack of stats. This guy doesn't play Power League whatsoever, doesn't even think to touch special event game modes, not having a single clear on any of them, and the craziest one, in my opinion, he's never competed in a challenge at all. It really shows either his determination to keep up this really cursed account, he only wants stats on solo showdown, because the majority of challenges in this game are 3v3, which would add a win to his 3v3 stats. And not only that, he has a pretty dang impressive account here. He has B really high up there, Shelly really high up there, and other brawlers that are pretty dang high with previous rank 35s. Yeah, he's got a really cool account, a very bizarre account. But next up, moving along to probably one of my favorite cursed accounts I've stumbled across in quite some time, we have this individual here. Taking a look at the top here, it's very impressive, right? Some really high ranks, and it looks like they're going for 3 different rank 35s this season, I'm assuming in duels. But as we scroll down, it looks pretty dang similar to any other account you'd see out there. In the middle of the pack, you see some mid-range ranks. But as we get lower and lower here, we see the absolute craziness of this account in the 500 trophy ranges. Rank 35s galore, below 500 trophies, and it keeps going lower and lower here. 8-bit at 62, Colt at 49, and it goes lower even with honestly really cursed trophy totals here. Tara at 5 trophies and Shelly at 4. I thought it was so dang interesting and had to share it with all of you guys. Imagine having a rank 35 at 4 trophies. It's awesome. But getting into somewhat rapid fire range here, you guys will be surprised just how many cursed accounts you can stumble across just by checking the overall Brawler trophy leaderboards at the moment. Taking a look at the Bull leaderboards here, we have Dab sitting at 2nd place with 12,388 total trophies. And look at this. Guys, I feel like duels has really spawned a lot of crazy interesting accounts here. I've been seeing an ongoing trend where people are pushing to rank 35 in duels with 3 different brawlers here. I mean, look at this. His top 3 all rank 35 and Piper there. But then we scroll down and we just have like 0 trophy brawlers. It's nuts. But the weirdness doesn't stop there. Taking a look at the Dynamite leaderboards, we have Storm here sitting in the 3rd place spot with 10,723 trophies. Same thing, right? How about this guy on the Daryl leaderboard sitting in the 3rd place spot? 21,227 trophies. Same thing. Crazy, right? Moving on here to the Jackie leaderboards, this person at the very top, number 1, Haha Hank, 1,482 on Jackie. Look at these stats. It's so wild. These guys are so dang determined to push in duels to the point where they're getting up to 1,500. I think it's duels at least. If you guys have a little bit of spare time here looking at this video, just graze through the top brawler leaderboards here and I'm sure you'll find some awesome stuff. But to wrap up this video here today, I want to end with probably the most cursed account happening currently in Brawl Stars right now. And we've brought it up already in a previous video, and that is a certain world record push here for Mortis. We have Physic on his mini account, right? Just kind of put it in perspective here. He has a total of 6,458 trophies on this account, and one of his brawlers has a third of those trophies, guys. 2,226 total trophies on Mortis as of right now, smashing the world record already. It's wild how good Physic is at Mortis pushing on ladder, and it's super admirable. I've heard through the grapevine that I think he wants to go for 3,000 Mortis. He might not be able to get it this season, but what I've been told is he's going to be going for it next season, which is insane. We need to see that 3,000 Mortis. Oh my goodness. But yeah, everyone, I think that's a good ending point for this video here today. There is nothing more interesting than stumbling across a hidden gem, a hidden cursed account out there in the Brawl Stars community. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking about some of these bizarre things that we saw here in today's video. And of course, if you ended up enjoying it, be sure to slap a like on it. I'd really appreciate that. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun, Brawl Stars, and we'll see you all in the next one. Adios and take care.